Bada bing, bada boom. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? It is the kid xNightmareEffect. I am considered to be one of the best Balrogs in the world, but do I believe it? No, I'm just an innocent bystander that's just trying to cross the street so I could let mom and dad know I had a good day today. So, a little bit about myself. I do compete in tournaments. I've placed top 8 in most NLBCs. I've traveled, final round, CEO, Texas Showdown, etc., etc. And today, I actually want to show y'all how to play Balrog, a good beginner's guide. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Bada bing, bada boom. And before we start, you guys, be sure to subscribe to DashFight for more character guides and check out their website for all things FGC related. So first things first, let's go ahead and talk about Balrog's neutral buttons. Balrog is a charged character, so it's obvious that he's going to have buttons that really do well at controlling the space and allowing him to force his opponent to become impatient and play how he wants them to play. Some of his best buttons in neutral is hands down his standing fierce, which is -3 on block with amazing pushback, roundhouse being +3, crouching medium punch being +2, and low forward, even though it's -2, it allows to attack their legs low. So if they ever get caught up, backing, or moving around and they're just exposing their legs to be hit with a low forward is very strong, very strong. You also have your lights, which are +3 on block, which allows for tick throws, and you also have your mediums that are also plus. So this character overall has a lot of plus frames. So to be honest, you can't go wrong with none of his buttons. Like, I feel like all his buttons are his best buttons, except for sweep, which is -14 on block. So if your opponent actually blocks this, then you're asking to get punished unless you max space it and they're just not ready for the sweep. Footsies, I want to say generally, his footsies really rely on space control. If you want the most out of Balrog, you want to make sure that you're spacing all your buttons, unless you're throwing out a close button that's hella plus on block, which allows for your opponent to have to respect the next upcoming option, and then if they decide to press a button, then 9 times out of 10 they should be getting hit, because like I said, all of Balrog's buttons are hella plus. Anti-airs, Balrog definitely has one of the best anti-airs in the game, which is standing medium punch, 5 frame startup. So anytime your opponent jumps at you, this is the first button that you always want to throw out. It leads for a side switch mix-up, and if you're holding charge at the right time, you can dash low cancel spin into a side switch that normally people don't use, but it's an option that's there, but you don't really see a lot of people using it. But I'm just letting it be known that you can dash straight cancel to side switch if you don't feel like dashing under, which is the go-to option. And another one is also his crouching fierce. Crouching fierce is his secondary option that allows for him to anti-air at like a certain range. So up close from maybe mid to close range is your standing medium punch. But if they're jumping at you from like a mid to far range, you want to make sure that you're using crouching fierce just to extend that hitbox out just a little bit further to cover the range that standing medium wouldn't cover. Cover the anti-airs. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about his specials. Now, like I said before, Balrog is a charged character, so to really get the most out of this character, you want to make sure that you're spacing all your specials, because dash straight is -4 on block, but of course if it's max space at the perfect range, it cannot be punished. Same thing with dash low. It's -7 on block, but if you space it correctly, your opponent can't punish it unless you're going against Chung-Li or Ibuki, where they have to spin a bar in order to punish it. So that's a different situation for a different time. You also have your EX moves, which makes EX dash straight +1 on block. So whether you're far, whether you're close, if you spin a bar for EX straight, you're +1 on block. And it also advances you forward. So whenever you feel like you're not playing neutral or just want to find a way to just get in quick, EX dash straight is always your go-to option. Same thing with EX straight. No, same thing with EX dash low. It's no longer -7. It's now -2, means that it's safe. So you don't have to space this. You can do it up close and your opponent can't punish it. With the fastest button in the game being -3, If it's -2, -1, or 0, you are able to block after any special that you throw with Balrog at this given range. So we talked about specials, anti-airs, some of his footsies and neutral buttons, which I consider are his best buttons. Let's go ahead and talk about his V skills and V triggers a little bit. V skill 1, it basically allows for you to have a V skill spin, which allows you to go through fireballs. Let me go ahead and showcase that real quick. So normally if you're going against a character with a fireball, you want to make sure that you're always using V skill 1 just to give yourself the upper hand in the matchup. Not saying it's going to be an automatic win for Balrog, but because of the fact that you have a way to get around projectiles, you are nullifying an option that your opponent's character is able to use. So not only do you have the opportunity to spin through fireballs, you also have access to a hollow mix-up. If you decide to do V skill, which is medium kick and medium punch, and then you decide to end it with any kick, you would do an overhead. It's -7 on block, which can be punished, but if it lands the hit, you're +5, which allows you to follow with a free standing medium punch, because standing medium punch is a 5-frame startup, which leads into EX dash straight for amazing corner carry and more damage. And also, if you don't go for the overhead, you can just do raw V skill spin that leads into the low, into like just more options. You can even spin into grab. So that pretty much covers V skill 1. If you look a little bit at V skill 2, it allows Balrog to Dempsey roll. Now what exactly is Dempsey roll? Anytime you see Balrog Dempsey roll, he has now amplified his dash straight, and he no longer has to charge it. So if you have a Dempsey roll, which is V skill 2, you automatically get access to a powered up straight, which is +2 on block. This basically allows for Balrog to play neutral better, because you no longer have to play down back Balrog, which is the charge version. Anytime you charge a V skill 2, you could just freely move around, play some neutral, create these situations that you want to work out in your favor, and just completely mix the game up. Even if you don't throw, you're +4, which allows for a freestanding medium kick to hit, because it comes out 4 frames faster, meaning that it's beating 3 frame. So those are both of your V skills. Use V skill 1 for any fireball character, and you can use V skill 2 for any character that don't have a fireball. Let's go ahead and talk about V trigger 1. V trigger 1 is your damage and your mix-ups. So if I turn this to first attack only, V trigger 1 allows for Rekka dash cancels, which allows you to push them to the corner faster, do damage faster, and also enable dangerous hollow mix-ups where V skill turn punch leaves you +2 on hit, which creates a situation that they have to guess. So V trigger 1 allows for a lot of potential, because combined with V skill 1, you're able to mix in the overhead, the empty spin low. You could throw in the throws, you could throw in the shimmies. V skill 1 with V trigger 1 is a very mix-up heavy setup, which allows for 1 hit can be confirmed, which allows it to big damage if I actually confirm it. So V trigger 2. V trigger 2, it gives you access to a command grab. Now what are command grabs, for those who don't know? It's basically a grab that your opponent cannot tech. In order to beat a command grab, you either have to neutral jump or you have to backdash in order to get out of that. So if you happen to guess wrong off the command grab, that means you just open your defense up to being free to almost every other hit. So if you think a command grab coming right there, you basically just ate that whole sequence, because the moment you go to try and jump and I hit your legs low, I will be able to clip your jump, and it just opens up a whole nother mind game where your opponent just has to guess. So if you was to ask me which setup is the go-to for Balrog, I would really say V skill 1 trigger 2, because you have the hollow mix up because of V skill 1, and then you have the command grab option, which is a different mind game, which allows for a nasty situation to be created where your opponent has to guess. And if they guess wrong, then Balrog will make you bleed. So let's say you stun off the next attack, right? Say you get stunned off the next attack and I just so happen to command grab you. And this is because you guessed wrong. If I have meter, oops, my bad, let me do that one time. Alright, I'm gonna just do it off a back throw. You just ate 473 damage because you guessed wrong. So I would definitely say V skill 1 trigger 2. And if you're going against a character without fireball, like I said, V skill 2 trigger 2 is also a nasty one. So Balrog is really able to mix and match his whole V skill V trigger setup. Like, it's really no right or wrong. Like, whichever route that you feel like taking, you're really not wrong for it. Alright, you guys, let's go ahead and talk about some good strengths for pressure and offense and why I prefer these strings over any other string in the game for Balrog. So first I'm going to demonstrate with just defense and then explain to you why I like these buttons sequenced the way I put them, because it's called a frame trap in this game. A frame trap is basically a sequence of buttons that stop the opponent from either hitting 3 frame or 4 frame depending on who they're playing, because every character doesn't have a 3 frame. So if I do crouch and jab, I'm +3 on block. Now this is tapping into frame data a little bit, but if I do crouch and jab, I want to follow with a button that's going to stop 3 frames. So in this situation right here, it'll be crouch and jab and a standing medium kick. Why? Because crouch and jab is +3 on block and my standing medium kick is 6 frames and it's coming out 3 frames faster, and it's going to take priority and beat the 3 frame option. So that's one reason why I like this button into standing medium kick, because it covers 3 frame, and then once I get them conditioned, I'm going to be able to throw them. Throwing your opponent in Street Fighter 5 is so key because it sets up so much. Once you get your opponent thrown X amount of times, they're going to start worrying about it. They're going to start jabbing. They're going to start backdashing and just finding ways to get out of the throw. So that's when you're able to start coming in with crouch and jab, micro step, and a crouch and light standing jab to stop the up back. You also have crouch and jab, standing medium kick, and to standing jab, which covers the 3 frame option, and it also links into counter hit. So you're basically covering multiple options with just 1 frame trap. It's easy to have an option that covers all instead of training your eye to catch and realize counter hit. Not saying it's hard, but if you want to start off at a nice easy pace, you should find frame traps that's going to cover counter hit and regular hit. So crouch and jab and a standing medium kick, standing jab is beautiful for that. You also have roundhouse into standing medium kick. Why? Because roundhouse is +3 on block, and even if it lands a hit, you are +7 on hit. So with those 2 factors being taken into part, you can either pressure and be plus, or you can land a hit and get a combo going. So this is another frame trap where you're covering multiple options with 1 frame trap. Roundhouse in a crouching medium punch, roundhouse in a crouching light, and roundhouse in a standing jab. Those are all good ways and good strengths to start pressure and keep offense going. You can never go wrong with jabs because it's the fastest button in the game. So if you want to just poke away at your opponent with a jab, you're never wrong with that. Standing light kick is your 3 frame, is +1 on block, so that's also a good way to pressure. And Street Fighter 5, for those who don't know, it isn't really combo heavy. Like, it's not fast paced like Marvel or Dragon Ball Z, so pokes are very important. So if you're able to just poke your opponent down, press single buttons, then you're basically playing the game right. And taking advantage of plus frames is really important because that's how you're going to start your pressure. Alright, you guys, now since I done talked about some good strengths and pressure, let's go ahead and talk about some bread and butter combos. I'm going to perform a combos, then I'm going to explain to you why this is a go-to option for me. So first I'm going to do this bad boy. Why do I like this combo? Well, one, it's a target combo which links after my +3 roundhouse, which is on block. But if it lands the hit, it's +7 on hit. So I like this combo because, one, anytime you do a target combo and you end it with a V skill move, you're building V meter, which leads into V trigger. So this combo right here has multiple plus factors to it, because not only do you gain V meter, do 208 damage with 388 stun, you're also getting amazing corner carry, which allows for set play, if I can get it done. And then I just push my opponent to the corner way faster. So I like this combo once again because of damage, corner carry, V meter buildup, and the Oki that it allows me to get after I end the combo with V skill turn punch. And now my opponent is in the corner right where I want them. Another combo that I really like doing is my jumping roundhouse into crouching fierce heavy screw smash, EX dash straight, V skill turn punch, EX dash straight. This combo basically speaks for itself. It's just pure damage. 418 damage with 600 stun, and even if my back is to the corner, I just push my opponent from side to side. It's an automatic wall carry from left side to right side or vice versa. So this combo is just damage, getting your opponent to the corner and setting them up how you want them set up. Now, of course, you have your crouching light kick into 3-frame target combo, which is crouching light kick into light kick, medium kick, heavy kick. This combo is good because if your opponent gets hit low, you can automatically link up with a 3-frame target combo. It's a quick way to get damage for punishing your opponent for exposing their legs. You also have your double crouching jab into EX dash straight. This is basically good for punishments. So anytime your opponent does something punishable, let's say my opponent decides to whiff something and I see it, oops. A quick jab in the EX straight is very good. I like to call that a real good go-to punish, whiff punish combo, if you can manage to catch it. And then of course you get the quick corner carry, bada bing, bada boom. There was one more that I want to talk about. Oh, standard medium kick into standard medium punch. Why this combo I like it? Well, one, my standard medium kick is +2 on block, but if it lands the hit, it's +5 on hit, which links into a free standard medium punch. Now the reason why I like this combo is because standard medium punch forces a stand up, which allows for screw smash to hit. So that's 203 damage, it's a knockback, and it allows for +11 on dash up. And if you're using V skill 2, after you do this combo and you link it with light screw smash, you get a free V skill 2 charge up and +7 on quick rise as your opponent is waking up, which allows for more setup after they get up. You can lead into a free powered up straight the moment they wake up. And if you want to test this setup, you always want to go and do dummy, guard all, set wake up option. Let me record one real quick just to demonstrate. And then boom, they get counter hit for trying to wake up and press a button. So these are my go-to bread and butter combos in the corner, and it's the same thing when you're in the corner. The same routes apply, nothing has changed. My go-to combos are still the same. Because like I said, Street Fighter 5 isn't really too dependent on stylish combos. So once you find a few bread and butters like the ones I've shown, you basically good to go. Alright you guys, now since I done covered combos, let's go ahead and talk about what is the character trying to do and what do they excel at. Well, Balrog himself as a character is a high offense, and he wants to bully the opponent as best as he can. Now, how do he get this done? But first, he has one of the best bully tools in the game, which is dash straight. It's negative form block, and that's just the light version. Of course, with the medium version, you lunge much further. You also have heavy straight, which allows for a further travel from a wider output of the screen. And you also have EX dash straight, which is, like I said, +1 on block. So Balrog is just a free bully machine that is going to do what he wants until the opponent showcases that he or she is able to stop it. But if he or she can't, then Balrog is going to bully until you decide to start making mess ups. And that's just with dash straight. He also has dash low. If you ever get caught up backing or exposing your legs, dash low will cause a free knockdown that allows for me to start my pressure. EX dash straight. EX dash low is also a quicker, faster way to attack their legs if they're trying to run. You also have very good buttons, like I said. So Balrog is just going to force you to make a mistake sooner or later. Whether it's you taking throws, you trying to press buttons because you're tired of blocking, because Balrog has a lot of plus frames. And of course, with a plus frame character, if you ever get caught pressing a button trying to disrespect my plus frames, then you're just going to lead up into counter hit for thinking you could press a button. So once you do that, your life bar will drain. And now Balrog has you playing his game. Weaknesses. Let's talk about weaknesses. What is Balrog weak to? I've been playing Balrog since the character drop, and it is actually fair and honest to say that he is weak against grapplers. Any character that is able to knock Balrog down and force him to guess and have to burn resources to get him off of you, that is considered to be a weakness. Why? Because Balrog doesn't have a DP. Balrog has a 3-frame armored move. No, he has an armored move that comes out on the 3rd frame, so it can easily be baited off wake up and meat eat. And of course he has critical art, but I mean most people tend to block that. If they see that you have full meter, they're gonna start looking for it. So unless you're using view reversals, which is basically forward 3 kicks or forward 3 punches. So let's just say Sakura is me. So if I was going against a grappler, this is what I would have to do in order to get them off of me. I would have to burn my resources to pray that I reversal them at the right time, which is going to cause them to get a knockdown. Once you get Balrog burning resources, Balrog no longer has V-trigger activation in order to make that big massive comeback that he normally wants to get. Balrog explodes once he activates V-trigger because of the combo potential, the damage output, and the mix-ups that he now has access to. Once you get rid of that, Balrog is less of a threat. Not saying he's not still a threat, but he becomes less of a threat. Alright you guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. You can also check out all the things shown in this video in the text version and the link in the description. If you liked the video, please leave a like or comment below with your thoughts, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.